Yeah, welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, MyBookie.ag. We're going to get right down to brass tacks today. Got to be a short show today, unfortunately. I'm feeling a little bit better, but hopefully it sounds better. I'll tell you that much. Anyway, welcome in once again. Eagles, Packers, Monday Night Football. We're going to get into that. Micah Parsons had some fighting words in Green Bay. Look, you could go top shelf if you want to. You could say that this was, why would you even say disrespectful when you were already saying respectful about the type of quote unquote a dog fight this is going to be tonight? For me, I respect the hell out of Micah Parsons. He's a phenomenally talented football player. Not all that much success against Lane Johnson. My thing for tonight, the number one thing I'm going to be looking at, other than, the typical, hey, can they keep the running game going the way they were able to do prior to the bye week? Can they keep winning the way they were able to do in their 2 games leading up to the bye week? Are guys going to be healthy? Let me answer that right now. No. I'll answer that. Get into that more specifically. But I want to see how much they move around Micah Parsons to maybe not have to face Lane Johnson and maybe face a little bit more of a struggling Jordan Mailata, who I don't think has been terrible by any means this season, but he has absolutely not played to the level or the standard that he has set for himself. So one of the number one things I'm going to be looking at is how much Micah Parsons is able to get into the backfield and from where. That's for the Green Bay Packers defensive side of things. For the Eagles defensive side of things, I'm curious about Nolan Smith and I am curious about Jalen Phillips. Both said exactly what you would want them to say leading up to this game tonight, leading up to today, game day. Both said, need me to play on the left, I play on the left. Need me to play on the right, I'll play on the right. Whatever they need, whatever you need from me, I'll be able to do for the football team. That's great. The reason that I'm excited about this Jalen Phillips deal, and I don't focus so much on, they gave up a 3rd-round pick. As I said at the trade deadline, and I said all last week, this is exactly the guy that the Eagles needed. This is a guy that can come in and help stop the run. This is a guy that can come in and help, obviously, maybe get you more than 16 sacks before now and the end of the season, because that's where you're at right now at the midway point of the season. 16 sacks. One of the worst teams in the NFL actually bringing down the quarterback. That's the Philadelphia Eagles. We've also seen Vic Fangio actually blitz this year, which is something that we're just not used to seeing. So can Jalen Phillips help you in the regard of not having to actually blitz to dial up pressure? Can he actually take advantage of the opportunities? And Nolan Smith, by the way, take advantage of the opportunities that are going to be given to an edge rusher when you have interior linemen playing at the level they're playing at, like Jalen Carter and like Moro Ojomo? Can you get more of them sexy numbers from your edge rushers with your interior defensive linemen doing the job they've done all season long? Will the numbers start to climb? Jalix Hunt continue to take steps forward is the best way to describe, I think, his sophomore season in the NFL. And then get guys that can finish the play behind the line of scrimmage, because we hear that a lot from Vic Fangio. It's not just about getting in the backfield. It's about finishing the play, whether that be a tackle for loss, like something Jalen Phillips could do for you in the run game, or that's something to getting after the quarterback and bringing him down for a sack like we've seen Nolan Smith do. I do feel very confident that going into this second half of the season, the Eagles defense will be better than what we've seen so far this year. The run game has been really bad, how they've been attempting to stop the run this season. You've seen it start to come around a little bit, but you do measure it against the talent that they've faced and also the strategy of a team like the Vikings, for instance, just trying to throw the football out, air the football out, despite Carson Wentz missing spots left and right. So that's what I look at when it comes to the Eagles going into this game tonight. Micah Parsons, and then I also look at the other side of things with the Eagles on the defensive side of things for them, how they're going to use Jalen Phillips and how Nolan Smith looks tonight. The other thing I'm going to be looking at tonight is, again, how the Eagles get the run game going tonight. The Eagles tonight are coming off a game. Now, yes, they're coming off their bye week, but they're coming off by a huge majority, their best rushing performance of the season. Saquon Barkley 2 days ago talked about how Tank Bigsby can perform, how talented a back he is, how great he fits in their running backs room, and how he can provide that rest for him and also take advantage of the holes that the offensive line can open up. The problem for that is that the unfortunate part is that the Eagles' offensive line has not opened up much. The way we're looking at things tonight, Cam Jurgens is again out tonight, still dealing with his knee injury. I do not believe that Cam Jurgens has all of a sudden become terrible at football. I don't believe that Cam Jurgens is just all of a sudden playing below his own standard that he has set for himself. I believe he's not healthy. And being out tonight would kind of support that. Being out a week ago, before the bye week, would also support that. Being out after the bye week on what I like to call a mega bye week, where not only are you off the previous Sunday, but also you don't play till the following Monday. That's what the Eagles are on right now. I believe Cam Jurgens has an issue. In his performance against the Giants, Brett Toth has earned another start, and he has also allowed Cam Jurgens, take your time, man. I'll hold down the fort in the meantime. And you go out there and you go and you get healthy, and we'll be good. Brett Toth really did an amazing job. Granted, against the Giants, that's still a guy like Dexter Lawrence in the middle of that line of scrimmage, though, you got to be worried about as a center. And they did a phenomenal job. They had their best running game of the season. If you were going to say, if this was a rookie debut, not a guy that's been around like Brett Toth, for instance, and he played center the way he played center in that game, you would take that as, wow, that's a great start to his career. Hey, that's a great start if you're going to be coming in and getting significant snaps when other people on this offensive line, i.e. the center, are banged up. Brett Toth did a fantastic job. That is again, great bar to set for himself, seeing the Eagles, who, again, struggled mightily throughout this season. Despite Jalen Hurts, despite Saquon Barkley being in your backfield, you couldn't even average 90 yards per game on the ground. And then you break off at a 260 yards, whatever it was, against the Giants. That's pretty damn good. And using your running backs for that, not just using, a scrambling quarterback, but earning those yards, right? So I look at the center position tonight. The passing game with Jalen Hurts and this Eagles offense. We really saw him zero in, focus in on Devontae Smith. We saw him zero in and focus on Dallas Goedert. Saquon Barkley was one of their leaders in receptions against the Giants. A.J. Brown's going to be out there tonight. Devontae Smith obviously will be out there tonight. He continues to have really what looks like it's going to be a career year for him. I just need crispness. I need a little bit more of that, basically what you saw going into the bye week. We talked last week about how Jalen didn't want to use the word unlock. I don't want to unlock. It's not about unlocking anything. It's about doing what we know we could do. We just haven't been able to do it for the most part of the season. Now, could we get the regular? Could we step it up from like two quarters every game so far this year, where you guys look like you're balling out, and then up that to 3? Make it 4? Can we get that cocky? Can we get that confident? We've seen the passing game start to click over the last couple of games, and one of those games that A.J. Brown wasn't even out there. A.J. Brown last week, we played it for you. It was all cool. Everything's fine. Trade rumors, social media posts, over it. Not a problem. Devontae Smith 2 days ago was asked about his take, if you want to call it that, on A.J. Brown's posts, on A.J. Brown's drama, if you will. But he was also asked about his own numbers and following his own numbers this season, what they're projecting out to be one hell of a year for him in the NFL. 2 things from Devontae Smith I want to get to. Number 1 is just his own reaction to A.J. Brown. For anyone that didn't hear this, here he is on his teammate and his own teammates' quote-unquote drama.
You know AJ better than maybe anyone in this locker room. What's it like from your perspective when you hear him get talked about nationally so much?
Ain't got nothing to do with me. I mean, it don't have nothing to do with me, so I don't pay attention to it.
Do you reach out?
Nah, we all grown. We all have our own things that we do, and we grown.
I think that, honestly, that might just sound like he said nothing. To me, when you talk about we're all grown, that's just like, he's a grown-ass man over there, right? Like, what am I gonna check him? What am I gonna be like, hey, man, you can't, why are you putting that stuff out there? I think the only thing they care about is how they act on the football field, and the only thing and how they act on the sidelines. That's it. Everything else out there on social media, they might offer an eye roll. Or how about this one? I haven't heard anyone suggest this one yet. Or they know exactly what A.J. Brown is talking about. Using me, but not using me. Oh, yeah, I remember you said that in a meeting or something. And they just let it go, and it doesn't bother them. One of my opinions on this throughout the season for A.J. Brown has been, if we weren't talking about A.J. Brown, would we be talking about more about how the offensive line has struggled in the run game? Would we talk more about that if we weren't talking about A.J. Brown saying, using me, but not using me? If we weren't talking about A.J. Brown saying, well, there's a problem, but I'm not going to tell you what that problem is. So Devontae Smith has the attitude of, nothing to do with me. Doesn't bother me. I know he's good. We're good. Everything's good. Let's be a great football team. Now, what I do find interesting, though, is this is where some people could get on Devontae Smith's case here. A.J. Brown has said many times that, well, I shouldn't say many times, but A.J. Brown has said on more than one occasion, that Devontae Smith is more the one to talk about targets than he is. A.J. Brown has said that in the past. The marquee example is after the media ice out during his 13-minute media session at his locker, which is like an epically long media session at a locker. He's like, everyone always talks to me like I'm begging for targets. He's like, Devontae Smith looks at his numbers and talks about targets more than I do. So Devontae Smith is on pace for 1,250 yards, 1,250 yards this season, 4 touchdowns. That's what he is on pace right now. That's not such a bad year there for Devontae Smith, especially if he continues on the pace that he has been at over the last couple of games. Most notably, this last game against the Giants and also against the Minnesota Vikings, where he just went off. Those would be a career high. That would be career high in yards for A.J. Brown, for Devontae Smith. So is Zach Berman, the Athletic, caught up with Devontae Smith again at his locker a couple days ago and asked him about following his own season and whether or not he uses that as motivation?
I mean, for me, I'm being honest. Every week, I do. That's the purpose of you setting goals. You set goals for a reason. So to know where you're at with your goals, you have to look at that. I mean, everybody's different. Some people don't look at it. I look at it. Do it change the way I play or the way I think about things? No, not at all. But I definitely look at it.
I don't fault a guy for that. I don't blame him at all. I do not blame him at all for check. Look, if I don't look at it, I don't worry about the numbers. Like he said, it doesn't change the way he plays. I think everyone wants to know how much they're helping their team. And they want to know if they're not helping the team and what they could do to help the team. And your own personal numbers, I don't have a problem if a player says, I want to be MVP or I want to be Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. I want a personal accolade. That's great. Go do that. But as long as that's not the main thing. But if you're doing that, then odds are you're kind of helping your team win football games because that's you being the best you can possibly be for your team. So I don't have a problem with him. Oh, wow, I could have set a career high in yards per game or yards for a season. Let's do it. Let's go after it. Especially for a season where that run game has been wildly disappointing up until late. So I have zero issue with that, but that's an example. Now, if A.J. Brown, now here's where I'll turn it around. If A.J. Brown says that, hey, stop focusing on your numbers, team. Stop focusing on numbers. Worry about the team. But he didn't say it. Devontae Smith said it, and I think everyone else is like, hey, good for him. Like, what are you going to do? Not know that you're having a great year? Seems dumb. So I don't mind the honesty. I don't mind the honesty at all. And then, number one, give me like 10 tush pushes. Micah Parsons was asked about how you stop the tush push, and he goes, yeah, you don't let him get to 3rd and 1. You don't let him get to 4th and 1. You don't let him get to 3rd and 2 or 4th and 2. You keep him at 3rd and 3. That's how you stop the tush push. Micah Parsons, all of a sudden making things, saying things that, kind of make sense.
Take away the scoreboard.
That was an example when he didn't make sense. Now, here's an example of Micah Parsons at the media availability for the Packers this week, talking about this matchup between the Eagles. And to give it the context, it's like a measuring stick kind of game, and you play another top team in the NFC. This is what Micah Parsons had to say.
And we're coming for the top of the mountain. Like, they're coming to Lambeau to show them why they're on top of the mountain, and we're showing them why we're climbing the mountain. So it's going to be a respectful game. It's going to be a very respectful and disrespectful game. So it's going to be a dogfight.
Mike, is there any...
Okay, have it be a dogfight. The Green Bay Packers lately have struggled. That game against the Panthers last weekend was ugly. There's really no other way to look at how ugly or that game other than to think that it was just an ugly football game. And when you look at some of the numbers from the Packers, they went 1 for 5 in the red zone against Carolina. The Eagles defense has obviously been pretty phenomenal in the red zone. They're not going to have Tucker Kraft, who's injured for the year, a hell of a tight end, and unfortunately they lost him. But Packers defense has been pretty strong this season. And you're talking about a defense right now that has allowed 19 or fewer points in 5 games this season. And they only allowed the Panthers to go 4 for 10 on third down. So they could certainly be a stingy defense. Now, one of the big saving graces out of that game against the Panthers that the Packers just had last week is that Rico Dowdle ran for 130 yards in that game, 5.2 yards per carry. So if you're looking for a continuation of what you saw before the bye week, yeah, that would give you hope that you would have an opportunity to do that by having Saquon Barkley be able to go out there and run. Tank Bigsby be a guy to give you a different look as a defense, give a defense a different look. That for me is pretty damn spectacular. That's what I'm going to be focusing on. One of the many things I'm going to be focusing on in this game. And I think Micah Parsons talked about it just like any competitive football player would talk about it. Disrespectful and respectful all at the same time. Yeah, they're going to be trash talking. Grown-ass men out there on the football field. Yeah, I think they're going to be trash talking a little bit, to say the absolute least. I do like the Eagles today. I like the Eagles 31-20 beating the Green Bay Packers. Coming out of the bye week, smoking. Let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code FARZI, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to the game, the concert, the comedy show? Game Time app has you covered. So use promo code FARZI on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Gonna jump right. Sixers split over the weekend. Joel Embiid, 29 points. That was awesome. Maxi's 31 points. And then yesterday, they beat the Raptors. Then yesterday, they lost. Ran out of gas again in the second half against the Pistons. Cade Cunningham held to 2 points in the first half, 24 points in the second half, and a really weird inbounds play with 17 seconds left. Sixers are trying to get the quick 2. They ended up having everyone on the floor touch the basketball. I don't think they wanted to do that, but that's what they did. And then it ended up losing 111-108 to the Pistons. That wasn't fun. Now let's get into the chat check. Sean Gillespie, hello. Sean Kilrain, what's popping? Danny, hello. Mr. Tab, hello. Mr. Tab, what's up? I think the focus on things that we can control. I think our offensive line will get up for Micah Parsons, no matter where he lines up. There you go. Sean Gillespie, that's how you handle those questions, Avante. I agree. I thought he handled that great. Pin 9617, hello. Oh, okay. That's another way to look at it. Smitty's body language screams exhaustion of having to deal with BS for the second year in a row. Maybe. Sean Kilrain, Jalen Hurts ranking 34 qualified quarterbacks over the last 4 weeks. EPA in play. First in completion percentage. First in yards per attempt. First in touchdowns per game. That sounds pretty good. Like he's almost, like an elite quarterback and stuff. April. Hello, April. Sean, Saquon from scrimmage against the Packers as an Eagle, including the playoffs, 127.5 yards. That's pretty damn good. If you take away the scoreboard, can we please stop putting a microphone in front of this guy? Says Mr. Tab. Ken, good morning. See us being 5-0 after the bye week. There you go, Sean. Love that. Eagles will be very challenged. This will be a very challenging week for the Eagles. Well, I hope not too challenging. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back with you guys later today with Locked On 76ers. Got a Fox hit coming up at 7:45 today. See you guys later.